The sun slowly dipped below the horizon, painting the sky over the quiet Boston suburb in hues of amber, peach, and rosy blush. The houses, nestled among lush greenery, seemed to bathe in the warm, fading light. The streets, usually bustling with life, now lay in peaceful stillness. The air carried the scent of freshly cut grass and blooming flower beds, meticulously tended by residents who cherished the rhythm of suburban serenity. John Wilson, a tall man with dark hair and thoughtful brown eyes, walked slowly along the sidewalk toward home. His day at the office had been long and draining, but as he approached his house, his heartbeat steadied, as if the world itself exhaled with him. He loved these evening walks, the moment when work's weight slipped away and he could simply breathe, immersed in the quiet beauty of the world around him. The Wilsons' home stood at the end of the street, surrounded by towering oaks and maples. A two-story house with white columns and a wide veranda, it radiated warmth and stability. In summer, that veranda was perfect for sipping coffee as fireflies danced in the dusk. John climbed the steps and opened the front door. Inside, a gentle coolness greeted him, along with the rich, comforting aroma of something delicious simmering in the kitchen. His wife, Emily, stood by the stove, stirring a pot. At the sound of the door, she turned and smiled. "Hi, sweetheart," she said, stepping forward to kiss his cheek. "How was your day?" "Hi, John replied, wrapping his arms around her. "It was long, but now that I'm home, everything feels better. Something smells incredible." "That's your favorite soup," Emily said, returning to the stove. "I wanted to make something special, because we have a guest tonight." "A guest?" John asked, surprised. "Who is it?" "My sister, Sofia, came to visit," Emily answered, smiling. "She's upstairs, freshening up after the drive." John smiled. He'd always gotten along well with Sofia. 2 years younger than Emily, she shared her warmth, intelligence, and sharp sense of humor, yet carried a charm all her own. "That's wonderful," John said. "We haven't seen her in ages." He climbed the stairs to greet her. The house felt warm and spacious, soft rugs underfoot, family photos lining the walls, each frame a quiet testament to a life well lived. John paused for a moment, struck by a deep sense of gratitude. He had a good job, a beautiful home, and a family that loved him. In a world full of chaos, this place was his sanctuary. The door to the guest room was slightly ajar. He heard Sofia humming softly to herself. He knocked gently and stepped inside. "Hey, Sofia," he said, smiling. "Good to see you." She turned, her face lighting up. She resembled Emily, but with softer features, lighter hair, bright blue eyes, and a sprinkle of freckles across her nose. "John," she said, stepping forward to hug him. "So good to see you. How are you?" "Tired," he admitted. "But now that you're here, I already feel better." They went downstairs, where Emily was setting the table. The dinner promised to be cozy and warm, like so many evenings in this home. John sat down and looked at the two women he loved most, his heart swelling with warmth and gratitude for this quiet, perfect moment. The table was set with care, crisp white linen, crystal glasses, and polished silverware that caught the soft glow of the chandelier. Emily placed a steaming bowl of soup at the center, its rich aroma mingling with the warm air of the kitchen. "Please sit," Emily invited, and they took their seats. John looked at his wife and her sister. Both looked radiant. Emily in her favorite blue dress, which brought out the color of her eyes, and Sofia in a simple yet elegant black dress that accentuated her graceful figure. "So, Sofia," John began, ladling soup in his bowl. "How have you been?" "Great," she replied with a smile. "Work's been busy, but I finally took a short vacation. It's been too long since I visited." "We're so happy you're here," Emily said, reaching for her sister's hand. "John's missed you too." John nodded, feeling completely at ease in this warm, familiar atmosphere. They began to eat, sharing stories and laughing at old memories. He noticed how Emily and Sofia exchanged glances, quick, knowing smiles, but he didn't think much of it. "Remember last year's picnic?" Sofia asked, laughing. "That was fun, especially when I fell into the lake." "Oh, don't remind me," Sofia said, laughing even harder. I still can't believe that happened. Emily joined in, and John felt his heart fill with warmth. He loved these moments, when they were all together, and the house hummed with joy and connection. After dinner, they moved to the living room, where the fireplace crackled softly. John settled into his favorite armchair, while Emily and Sofia sat side by side on the sofa. The conversation flowed easily, but again, John caught a fleeting, mysterious glance between the sisters. "John," Emily began, her voice gentle but deliberate, "we have a little surprise for you." "A surprise?" John asked, intrigued. "What kind?" "We want to show you something special," Sofia said, smiling. "But you'll need to go up to the bedroom first." A quiet thrill ran through him. He didn't know what to expect, but his trust in them was absolute. He stood and headed for the stairs, his heart beating a little faster with anticipation. As he climbed, his mind raced. Asterisk, what could it be? A gift? A video? Something from our past? Asterisk. He couldn't even begin to guess. Reaching the bedroom door, he took a deep breath and stepped inside. What he saw made his heart skip a beat. John entered the bedroom, and his eyes immediately fell on the bed. There, bathed in the soft glow of a nightlight, stood Sofia, wearing exquisite lingerie he had never seen before. His pulse quickened, and heat rose to his face. "Sofia, what is this?" he stammered. She smiled and approached him slowly, her steps light and graceful, like a dancer's. "This is our gift to you, John," she said softly. "Emily and I have talked about this for a long time. We wanted to give you something truly special." John felt his thoughts swirl. He was stunned, aroused, yes, but also strangely vulnerable. On one hand, excitement coursed through him. On the other, a flicker of unease. "But why?" he asked, trying to make sense of it all. At that moment, Emily stepped into the room. She, too, wore delicate lingerie, and her eyes sparkled with happiness and nervous anticipation. "We want to do something extraordinary for you, John," she said, stepping close and gently touching his hand. "We want to show you just how much we love and cherish you." John looked at them, his wife and her sister, two women who meant everything to him. His heart swelled with warmth, gratitude, and something deeper, something he couldn't name. He hadn't expected this, but standing here, surrounded by their love, he realized it was something profoundly intimate. "I don't know what to say," he admitted, his voice trembling with emotion. "You don't need to say anything," Sofia replied, smiling. "Just enjoy this moment. Let's make you happy." Emily stepped closer and kissed him, softly at first, then deeply. John closed his eyes, feeling his body respond to her touch. When he opened them, Sofia was right beside him, her eyes full of affection and tenderness. "We want you to feel special, John," she whispered, brushing her fingers against his cheek. "Let us show you how much we love you." John felt his heart overflow with warmth and gratitude. This moment wasn't just about desire. It was about connection, trust, and a love that dared to go beyond boundaries. He pulled them both into an embrace, feeling their bodies press against his, creating a perfect circle of warmth and unity. In that instant, John understood. His life had just become richer, deeper, more vibrant. He was profoundly grateful to his wife and her sister for this unexpected gift, and he was ready to embrace every second of this extraordinary night. John stood in the center of the bedroom, enveloped by Emily and Sofia. Their presence filled the room with warmth, tenderness, and a quiet electricity. His heart pounded, and his mind spun with a whirlwind of emotions: surprise, arousal, vulnerability, and above all, a deep, swelling gratitude. Emily stepped closer and gently took his hand. "John," she said softly, "we want you to feel cherished. Let us show you how deeply we love you." Sofia moved in from the other side, wrapping her arms around his waist. Her touch was tender, affectionate, and John felt his body respond instinctively to their closeness. "We've dreamed of this moment, John," Sofia whispered, her eyes locked on his. "We will make you happy." John closed his eyes and took a deep breath. This was real. This was happening, and he wanted to savor every second. When he opened his eyes, both women were smiling at him, smiles that filled his heart with warmth and peace. Emily kissed him again, slowly, passionately, Her lips were warm, familiar, yet charged with new meaning. John melted into the kiss, feeling desire and love intertwine. Sofia leaned in and kissed the side of his neck, soft, lingering, sending shivers down his spine. Her touch was different from Emily's, lighter, more teasing, yet just as intimate. John wrapped his arms around them both, pulling them close, feeling their bodies press against his. It was more than physical. It was unity, harmony, a sacred exchange of trust and affection. They spent hours together, slow, deliberate, immersed in the intimacy of the moment. John felt his heart swell with love and gratitude. This wasn't just about pleasure. It was about connection, vulnerability, and the courage to love without limits. When they finally lay down in bed, John felt his body relax into a deep, peaceful calm. His last thoughts before sleep were of how lucky he was to have such a caring, loving family. He knew he would never forget this night. The first rays of morning sunlight filtered through the curtains, painting the room in soft, golden tones. John slowly opened his eyes, feeling his body relaxed and at peace. He lay in bed, surrounded by warmth and comfort, his heart full of love and gratitude. He looked around and saw Emily and Sofia still sleeping beside him. Their faces were calm, serene, beautiful in the quiet light. He gently kissed Emily on the forehead, and she slowly opened her eyes. "Good morning," she whispered, smiling. "Good morning," he replied, returning her smile. Sofia began to stir, and when she opened her eyes, her face lit up with a radiant smile. She stretched and gently kissed John on the cheek. "Good morning," she said softly. "Good morning," John answered, his heart swelling with warmth and gratitude. They spent the morning together, basking in the quiet intimacy of the moment. John felt a deep sense of peace. This wasn't a dream. It had happened, and it had changed something inside him. When they finally got out of bed, John felt renewed, energized, alive. He knew this night had altered the course of his life, and he wanted to cherish every second of this extraordinary morning. They went downstairs and made breakfast together, laughing, touching, sharing quiet glances. The kitchen filled with the scent of coffee and toast, and the house hummed with a new kind of warmth. As they sat at the table, John looked at Emily and Sofia and felt his heart overflow with love. "Thank you," he said, smiling, "for this incredible night. I'll never forget it." They smiled back, their eyes shining with happiness and love. They spent the day together, talking, walking, laughing, savoring the closeness they now shared. When it was time to say goodbye, John hugged them both tightly, his heart full of tenderness. "Thank you," he said again. This meant everything. They promised to meet again soon, and John knew this moment wasn't just a memory. It was a new beginning. And as the door closed behind them, he stood alone, yet not alone at all, because he carried that night with him, a gift of love, courage, and unity.